Hello, my name is Taylor. I'm the owner of Good Things Grocery in Lockhart and Martindale, Texas. What you are about to see is a unscripted, raw, authentic conversation with myself and several other grocery store owners throughout the state of Texas. We are getting together once a month to do an indie grocers roundtable where we share our strategies, our failures, our successes, what we're learning, different vendors we're using, and just the world of independent grocery. Our goal with this series is to connect with other people going through the same thing or inspire those who are interested in starting their own independent grocery in their own town. Thank you so much for following along, and I hope you enjoy this conversation with a bunch of independent grocers in Texas. We started our grocery store as part of a COVID pivot to from our coffee shop. We've owned a coffee shop now for 7 years in downtown Lockhart, and when the pandemic hit, we pivoted that into a miniature market when there were lines outside the grocery stores and everything was a mess. In our town, it's very unique because we only have one HEB and a Walmart, and it's a really just awful HEB. And so it's really hard getting fresh things and different dietary needs in Lockhart. And so when we started the kind of, test run in Chaparral, our coffee shop, we found that it was an immediate success and definitely saved our business. And then we realized that we were onto something and we're going to, try out to do a full-on small grocery store to support the, just in between of what HEB was able to offer versus what was not available inside Caldwell County as a whole. We started with a shop in Martindale, Texas, which is actually about 15 minutes down the road from Lockhart. Because that was the only space that was available and it was an affordable rent and we could just literally pop up there. It had a kitchen. We were ready to go. And that was a success, but we still wanted to be in Lockhart. And so let's see, in 2022, 2021, we opened up a second location in Lockhart in the downtown area. That's literally right around the corner from the coffee shop. And since we've opened up the second location, it meant that less people were going out to the Martindale location. So one of our biggest struggles has been figuring out how to keep the Martindale location a sustainable project. And it's been a lot of jerry-rigging and figuring out on how to keep that working. So the reason that I wanted to start this, it's been something we've talked about for a long time. But I had a call with Stephanie of Farmhouse Delivery in Austin, and she told me that she has a monthly roundtable call with other people in her industry from around the nation, and they meet every month and just share what's going on and what's working for them, and just have a resource to bounce ideas off and share your struggles, share what's going on, what you've been good at, what you've been awful at. And just help. And I felt like that would be really helpful for me to know what y'all are working with on a consistent basis. And then I know it's going to be helpful for everyone. So that hopefully we can all grow and figure out the kinks. When I sent out the survey, every one of us has been open for less than 4 years. So we are all brand new at this. Statistically speaking, once you make it to your year mark, you're doing better than about 90% of any small business that opens up. And when you make it to the 5-year mark, you're in the top 1% of businesses that are being successful. So it's a really big deal that we've even all made it this far. And now the challenges are, all the loan money is out. We don't have any loan access. We don't have any freebies from the government. So it's really just figuring out, okay, well, how do we actually make this sustainable and how do we scale? And what does scaling even look like when you're working with such tiny spaces? All of our spaces are less than 2,000 square feet, and we're even dealing with some even tinier grocery stores that have less than 200 SKUs. So here's Sam. There he is. Welcome.
Hey, Sam.
Can you hear us?
Hang on one second.
Okay, there we go.
Alien connected.
Cool. You're joining the hen house, all of mostly women at this point. So
Well, hi. I'll get Sam on here soon enough.
Perfect.
Yeah, Sam. El otro Samuel. Where is everybody?
All right, cool. Well, let's give introduction. So Sam, I just gave kind of my introduction, where I'm at, what kind of brought me into this whole zone of the grocery world, and what my goals are as far as wanting to scale this business, understand how to run this in a sustainable way, and why I'm excited to, just have a roundtable where we can all chat and learn from one another. I would love, if you want to go next, that's totally fine. Or Jennifer or Chelsea, if one of y'all want to go next, and share with us kind of where y'all are at and what you're doing.
I'm go ahead.
Here first. This is my laptop.
Oh, cool. Love that.
And it has been that way for like a year and a half. So anyway, I'm always channeling you, Taylor.
Thanks.
I'll go last. I don't want to jump the line here.
Cool. Jennifer, Chelsea, why don't you guys take it away?
Okay, I'm happy to go.
Wait, go ahead. You're Chelsea over there?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I see. Okay.
I just want to preface by saying I'm at the beach with my family, so I won't be able to stay on too long, but my amazing, beautiful partner down here, Kaz, she's at the market too, so I don't know if she'll get interrupted, but Kaz and we have opened our store on October 3rd last year. We are in Wimberley, Texas. I don't know if everyone knows where we are, who we are. So we're in Wimberley. We're at the junction of 12 and 32. We can people think we're
Beauties of technology.
Yeah.
Chelsea, you froze. I'm not sure if you can hear us.
Oh, I can.
Okay.
Can you hear?
It's kind of going in and out. It's still frozen. Chelsea, if you want to try just removing the video and just doing audio, let's see if that helps with the bandwidth.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh,
cut out again. Kaz, maybe you have better internet connection than Chelsea.
I might. So Chelsea and I run a small market in Wimberley, Texas. Like she was saying, Wimberley is a small town in Hays County that is near, in between, kind of sits between Austin and San Antonio. We are a natural grocer. We try to support local farmers and ranchers within Texas. All of our meats that we have do come locally, except for a few items like elk and venison that we do get in from out of state. We have partnered with a lot of growers within Wimberley. So our focus is really to stay local. We try to offer also some center aisle items that you might find or have to drive to, let's say, Whole Foods or a Central Market to find, just to offer residents a way to save a trip from the city. We have a prepared foods line as well that we do. So we focus on food as medicine. So we try to use that local produce and again, those meats to prepare, prepared foods, whether they be family meals that people can take home and reheat, or lunch items. So that's kind of what we do. We sit with the same struggles that you've mentioned, Taylor. Again, how to make it a viable business, and then one that has potential for growth. And then also, I would say just finding employees, I think, is another area that we would, we're interested in. So.
Yeah.
Marketing too. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I do have a movie going for the kids, but I wanted to add too, as far as marketing goes, we have a lot of people that come in and have never heard of us, but they live in Wimberley. So I think that because we've never had a business like this before, we don't really know how to reach people other than social media. So that's been a struggle for us as well. People coming in and going, I am a Wimberley native and I've never even heard of you guys. So I think that's been a struggle for us, is really just getting more foot traffic, people that have never heard of us. We want to reach them. We want to get to as many people as we can. We have a lot of loyal customers right now that come in. We can almost tell you the day and the hour. So that's great. But again, the marketing thing, we could really use some guidance.
Okay, great. Sam, why don't you go next? Yeah, Sam Newman.
Hey guys, sorry I stepped away for a second. Today's gotten a little hectic, but this is like the most exciting thing that's happening all day. I'm Sam. I've got a Little Red Box Grocery in Houston. We're in the East End in Houston. I am in our neighbors. We're in like a 2,400 square foot space that we occupy 650 feet of. Our next door neighbors were a bakery cafe, which converted to an Italian food restaurant, which has converted now to an empty shell. So, losing foot traffic that way, but we've clawed our way back. So we're in a developing part of Houston, if you will. I think most of you guys are in Central Texas. This is East Austin 20 years ago, right? You'd bet the farm that this is going to be the next big place. It's a historic neighborhood. It's got great housing stock. It's got good families. It's just low income. And so we're kind of trying to straddle that line between how do we carry, board milk and Cheerios at a reasonable value while also offering some good locally made items and good meats and cheeses and things that are going to bring in some of the newcomers. So yeah, we just turned one. We're like 1 year and 3 weeks old. Every day is an up and down. I feel like when I filled out that form, one of the things that I said I want to get out of this is just some high quality group therapy. So excited to meet you guys, and we'll I think really jam together. But great to know you. Did I answer all the questions? Was there like a what are we really struggling with?
Well, what got you into
Grocery? Yeah. So my background professionally, I come from restaurant people in Austin. My great grandparents had restaurants. My grandparents had restaurants. So I've kind of always had food in the family business. But I went to work for HEB after grad school, and I was on the research team. And my primary role there over the course of about 8 years was understanding how food stamped shoppers shop for groceries, how mom and dad put food on their table. And then how, the question that we were always trying to answer is how do we make HEB the primary store of choice for low income Texans? And got to know the demographic really well, got to know the program really well. I left HEB in 2016 and I moved to Houston, and I ran a nonprofit here called Brighter Bites. And Brighter Bites, it's a program that I call it's a public health program masquerading as food distribution. We would give away about 25 pounds of fresh produce every week in low-income schools, plus nutrition education taught in the classroom. And we would see like every week moms and dads and kids clamoring for really high quality fresh produce. And it was like this, I'm fairly dense. The idea being that, traditionally, if you're going to ask a grocery, why is Kroger or HEB or the C-store selling the stuff they sell in low-income neighborhoods? The answer is always, well, we sell what our customers want. But I think the other side of that is maybe customers buy it because that's all you offer. And so it was like, there's demand everywhere. The supply doesn't exist everywhere. A big grocery as we know it has given us a lot of advantages, but it's also left a lot of people out. And so we're trying this thing, which we're all kind of trying in our own way. It's like small format, very community focused, very much embedded, and like knowing the customer. Chelsea, I think it was you that was just talking about like, the hour certain customers come in. But the reason I was late for this call is because one of our regulars was here for the third time today, and it's just like, he kind of wants to talk. And so we all deal with it. I think that's the beauty of the work we do. But that's why I think we deserve to win. I mean, the collective we're never going to win on having the most things. We're never going to win on having the lowest price. But I think we will win on having a good level of customer intimacy that no one can match. And so I hope we can all kind of dive in on how we're leveraging the handful of strengths we have. We don't have a lot of them, but we do have some. And so it's like, how do we lean into those? You'd mentioned, I think, building awareness. You know, we get the same thing, people coming in from 3 blocks away. They're like, I didn't know you were here. And it's, you know, it's true. It's like, I mean, how many of us leave our houses and take a left instead of a right? And you'll never see what's going on a block away if you never go to the right. And so we have some tactics that have helped. I'm happy to offer some ideas, but I really want to just learn what's working. I think we'll get better. Sorry I talk so much. I can talk.
No, that's great.
I think we all probably can. And also, Maddie, I see your shirt. Are you in San Antonio?
I'm not in San Antonio right now.
So do you know the Little Death people?
Yeah, I know Chad and a lot of
Chad's an old mate. Yeah, that's rad. I have a couple of those myself.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, what's amazing is that we're all in different parts of the state, but our community is so small. You know, like we all know each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Maddie, why don't you go next? You want to tell us what you do?
Yeah, sounds good. I've got a lot going on, honestly. But a grocery store in San Marcos. We focus on like the butchering aspect more than anything else. All of the meats are local, almost all of them, like 99%, coming from Heart Brand and 44 Farms. And then Peaceful Pork, which is our, smallest vendor. We really love working with them. We get the pigs in whole, and we just get the beef in sections because we don't really have, the facilities to break down a whole cow. We recently added a grocery concept. I mean, I guess maybe it's been like a year now. So we've got aisles and we've got some natural groceries, and we're only using UNFI. We don't have any other vendors for that. That part of the business has not been very popular. People mainly just like want chips and snacks. And like, I just don't really know if, because we advertised ourselves as a butcher shop early on, if people just like think of us as the meat people. So it'd be nice if they thought of us as more of a one-stop shop. I mean, we have tons of produce, all of which comes from farm to table out of Austin, Texas. They deliver to us, and we get our charcuterie from Salumeria. We've got a close relationship with Anthony. And then all of our cheese comes from Antonelli's, and all of our wine comes from Pangea for the most part. I mean, we have a few different wine distributors, but it's a low intervention program. And then we have some beer vendors as well. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's driving me crazy. Just one second. We're a lot busier at the beginning than we ever thought we would be. It's definitely tapered down in the past year. We had some of our own struggles with our landlord and a sewage septic situation that convinced the whole town that we were closed for a second. So I think that definitely has a part in why things have been a little bit slower lately. But generally speaking, we just really need to up sales. Grocery stores are a volume game, and I think we could definitely be doing a lot more sales out of that space. And just like the other two of you just said, there's a bunch of people in this town that don't know that we're there. Every time I'm out and about, they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, we got a little grocery store." And they're like, "Oh, I haven't heard of it." And granted, a lot of the people in this town are students, and we might be like out of their price range, but there's just a ton of people that would shop at the store that don't even know about us. So marketing is one of the things that I put on my that form that we filled out. As far as margins and marketing are things that I'm most interested in. And of course, connecting with all you guys. I mean, yeah. And Brooke's here too. She's my general manager. I should say right now I'm running a food hall stall at the Pearl in San Antonio. And that's where I spend most of my time. But Brooke's been running the butcher shop. So it's been like a couple months now. So she'll probably have some things to pitch in. I mean, she's there on the day to day.
I think you kind of pretty much crushed what we are doing and kind of what we want to improve on.
For sure. That's my cat. Can you hear that?
Cool. All right, Jennifer, why don't you go next?
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm up here in Paris, Texas, so I'm kind of outside of the area. My husband is a baker, and 17 years ago, we moved back to my hometown, which is Paris, and opened a bakery. And during the pandemic, we did the same pivot toward, we packaged, we make everything that we sell. So we packaged our pimento cheese, we packaged our hummus, our crackers, our granola, and that went really well. And so we thought, well, maybe there's something here, because we are in sort of like a food desert. We're on the end of everybody's chain. Like we only have a Kroger and a Brookshire's, and they're both terrible. But what we do have, and it was hard won, but over the last 5 years or so, our farmers market has finally started. Like we finally got the people, the old timers to come in and actually sell, not from the back of their pickups, but at a central facility, which is downtown, right down the street from the bakery. And we've always used their produce, and we've been able to make relationships with the farmers and use it in the bakery. But we also, I thought, well, I could maybe extend their selling power in a little corner grocery in downtown, which is also right down from the bakery. So we sell all of the bakery stuff. We do some grab and go items, which are probably the most popular. Everybody wants to just grab something and eat it right there. So we have like our chicken salad and stuff like that they can eat. But all of the meat is local from the farmers market. It's all grass-fed local meat. We have chickens, pork, that's all local. We have dairy. I'm selling local dairy, which is great. I have to drive to a dairy to get low temp pasteurized to sell direct, but we have raw milk that we sell from pre-order. Those are complicated laws, I'm told, but we just do it pre-order, and we seem to be okay so far. We also fill in, because we're 2 hours northeast of Dallas. So the closest Whole Foods is, at minimum an hour and a half away. So people will drive. We have a small section of, we're a very low income town, but we do have a small section of people who will drive to Dallas for lunch, so they'll always stop at Whole Foods or Central Market. So we were hoping to kind of capture a lot of that. So we have specialty items that you can't find anywhere else, like spices that they just don't carry at anywhere else in town. And that part has gone really well. Oh, we also introduced, we have wine and beer, which I feel like some days keeps us afloat, like we have the only natural wine selection anywhere near here. And that's been fun. It's one of our sort of hurdles is education here, like people don't know. We do a lot of explaining, like, what is this thing? What do I do with it? A lot of people don't cook here. So kind of what we're dealing with is just getting the word out, but also like how to shop, almost it's like why this is better. Like, yes, it's going to be more expensive, but you're going to get more. Like, we're still kind of having to tell people like why this is, a local food economy is, kind of something to support. So marketing is an issue. We have a lot of word of mouth, and the bakery of course helps, because we've been open so long that we have a core group of, like a customer base that we can, the counter staff will point down the road. Oh, we're out of sourdough here, but if you go to the grocery, they still have some, that's really helped. We just opened last October. So this is all still an experiment to us. We kind of just did it because a building opened up and they offered it to us at a really nice, cheap rate. So we took it, and it's been going better than I expected, but staffing is a constant issue. The grocery, I will say, is a little easier than the bakery to find staff for. So kind of we thought, well, maybe this is something we want to double down on, as opposed to being able to extend any more of our services at the bakery. We can't make enough of, to keep both the groceries stocked. We don't have enough staff. We never have enough staff. Well, the last few years, we've just not had enough staff to kind of keep everything fully stocked all the time. So I'm not sure what the solution to that is, but one of the things I was interested in that I wrote down here is that maybe Sam could talk about is SNAP benefits. I've been thinking about maybe trying to accept those to get a different clientele into the grocery. We have like the ladies who lunch type, but we have a lot of people that walk by that will only buy groceries on a SNAP card or the benefits. I think that's what it's called. But I looked into accepting those payments, and it seems like a pretty extensive process. So I don't know.
It's honestly, it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's especially if you've got some historical numbers
Uh-huh.
and you can put down like what percentages are coming from which categories. As long as you've got, I think it's 3 items in like 5 or 6 different categories, you know, dairy and staple goods and meats, which we all probably do, but you're fine. The USDA wants more stores taking SNAP, not fewer.
Yeah.
And, you know, whenever I started to get like concerned that maybe we would be eligible or something, I went to my local Valero and I saw that, you know, any C store takes SNAP, and those guys are the worst, right? I mean, it's like, there's no, I mean, the meat that they carry is canned meat, and the vegetables that they carry are canned veg. Nothing wrong with those in principle, but like, that's what makes the store eligible. So like good meat and good bread and good dairy, you're fine. But yeah, USDA is good. I'm happy to talk through that some more. But it's a boon. I mean, it's close to 20% of our sales.
Oh, wow.
And you know, to the extent that anyone's interested in kind of double clicking on it, there's a group out of Austin, the Sustainable Food Center, which I'm sure we all know. They're the statewide administrator for Double Up Food Bucks. So our produce, if you're paying with SNAP, is half off, and which makes us the best price in town. And so that means we can source more, you know, the more expensive local stuff, which lets the newcomers to the neighborhood love it, and the old folks, they love it too, because all of a sudden these organic green beans from Richmond or whatever are like $1 for a thing. It's a win all the way around. And, you know, not to be, this isn't like a cynical thing, but like, it's a hell of a marketing hook.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, quick question before we dive into Sam from Frenchco. What POS are y'all using, Jennifer and Sam Newman?
I use Square.
You do use Square? And then
I
Sam,
just
what
use
are you
the free
using?
one.
Yeah, I use Clover. And the reason we use Clover is because they're the only cloud-based POS that takes EBT.
Yeah.
If you're not, you can, I mean, it's not a big deal if you don't have it, but you know, when you go to a convenience store and they've got the little handheld thing, that's what you'll use. You'll just have to get one of those.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is it's hard to run data off that. You know,
Jennifer, I'm also on Square, and at my Martindale store, we accept SNAP. It's a failed program for us there, but it pays for itself. But I'll figure out who I'm getting it from. It's Total Pay. I'm pretty sure. I'll put it in the notes afterwards.
Okay, great.
And it is the same, what he's talking about, a separate system. Because I use Square, I've got an iPad for that particular POS, and I'm able to have the Total Pay app on that. So it now is like more of a streamlined system. But I do have to accept the card on a little separate device, and it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. And it kind of sucks for the SNAP recipient, because then there's not oftentimes anyone else in the store when they're, you know, using their SNAP benefits, but it's, you know, no one feels good about being on SNAP. It's not something that like is something you want to showcase. And so when you're taking up extra time in the line because they have to process your card in a different way, it's not a perfect system. I feel like Square is working on that. And so maybe there's going to be some other solutions that come up later, but it's $30 a month for the Total Pay. And I think that's how I got everything through like USDA. But yeah, I'll get with Sam and we'll go, we'll get some show notes for you on how to actually set up SNAP benefits, because it's not that much to do. It's a little bit of paperwork in the beginning, but once it's set up, there's no renewal or anything, you just have it. And yeah, it's good for if you're trying to just help people out too, because there are a lot of people on those benefits. And I'd love to learn more about how we could offer the Bucks deal with discounted produce. I have not figured out a solution for that where we're at yet.
Sustainable Food Center, like the USDA, wants more people using it. They've got they've got the 2-year contract through the state, so it's around for a minute.
Okay.
And that's
All right. Sam, Frenchco Sam, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I just got back from Chihuahua City on looking for goods big planters. So this morning's a little hectic because I'm moving a trailer around and dropping stuff off. But yeah, so I'm Sam Stavanoa. I'm based in Marathon, Texas, so also pretty out of the way. I heard someone say like Austin 20 years ago, East Austin 20 years ago. So I guess I'm like East Austin in 1890 or something like that. Yeah, I bought the general store there in 2019, and it's been there in one way or another. It's changed locations and even changed the name at one point in the late 90s. But the French grocer has been there as either French's or Lucille French's or WM French General Merchandise since like 1901. And since I've been there, obviously I showed up just in time.
We lost you. There we go.
Yeah, that was October of 19 when I came in, and then by March the world was upside down. But as you all know, there was a huge boom in recreation, and so being in the small village just north of Big Bend National Park was quite a place to be, like during the pandemic. So I went from like the verge of bankruptcy to doing pretty well, like over a course of 6 months, which was really, really wild. We do all kinds of stuff at the store. A lot of what you all have mentioned: prepared foods, espresso bar, lots of pantry goods. I work with 3 different grocery vendors: Affiliated Foods, UNFI, KEHE. We've been buying a lot of stuff from Faire, which is kind of the drop ship wholesaler solution. I buy a lot of stuff direct. We don't have a lot of local producers of perishables out in the desert. Some of the only things I can get are like, I've got a guy who grows mushrooms in Fort Davis, some people who make honey, local beef I can get. That's about it, and it's extremely expensive. A guy growing microgreens, and that's like within a 80-mile radius, literally. So not a ton of options for true local perishables, but we kind of do the best we can there. I'm really glad Taylor set this up. I'm a computer engineer by trade, by education, I guess. Did that for like 15 years, got laid off actually this February. So I was working a corporate job this whole time until the last few months. But that's meant that a lot of what I've focused on at the store is automation. So I try to automate everything that I can, and have made some headway on that. That's kind of become one of my focus areas, my personal focus areas for the project. And yeah, super happy to meet and hear from all of you, and get some solidarity.
I would love to know how to automate anything that's automatable.
And so the grocery, technologically speaking, grocery business is 20 years behind or so, maybe 15 at best. So it's terrible. I've put together just the most, from an engineering standpoint, just the most terrible things imaginable to get some stuff to work. But I'm interested in, I think UNFI I have my sights set on as someone that I want to partner with, because you can't do legitimate automation that you can trust unless you have APIs and your access as far as like networking and software is concerned is not a total hack. Like, I'm using a lot of browser automation. I don't know if any of you've ever seen that, but it's not really the way you want to automate things. And I didn't wear my Little Death shirt because I'm in Terlingua right now, and it's literally even too hot to be wearing a t-shirt.
All right, you're absolved.
Absolved. Yeah. I think that's it for me for my short intro.
Cool. Well, it seems like one of the biggest things that I'm hearing on this first call is about marketing and about how to reach people, and how to tell people more about what you're doing and why they should shop with you, and what the experience is going to be for them, which is really important. I think what I'm hearing is like the reason that we're all doing what we're doing is because we want that human connection. With Good Things, our core values are connecting people with people and connecting people with their food. And it sounds like that's a lot of what everyone here is passionate about as well. So I'll just speak to that, and then we can kind of go around, and if anyone has anything to add, like let's help each other with problem solving, or at least giving some new things to try. I'll speak to what's been really successful for us. I think that me and Jennifer have a lot in common, where we have a brand loyalty that's already been established for a few years with our coffee shop. Dang it, I forgot to place my bread order. I've got 20 minutes to do it, so I'll do it in just a second. I just saw an email like reminder come up. Golly. Okay, so we had some brand recognition to begin with since we had the coffee shop. We've been open there for 7 years. So when we started this whole thing, it was the only coffee shop in town. So everyone that came with us was a loyal supporter, and we used the same account and set up our grocery store as a DBA under the coffee shop initially. So I literally transferred all those contacts that we had that we'd collected through Square into a different Square account, and I was able to send emails. I will say that our number one driver of sales is email marketing. I send out at least 1 to 4 emails a week, and these are the emails where I tell stories about like what we're getting in. I tell some struggles of what we've been dealing with. I make it very authentic. I share events. I share things that I'm very excited about. I share recipes. We have a very solid email open rate where it ranges between 40 and 60% open rate. That's huge for emails, because most email campaigns that get sent out on national average, the statistic is like less than 2%. My customers love my emails, and I hear on a daily basis how much they enjoy and look forward to the emails. So beyond social media, beyond word of mouth, email marketing, especially through Square, because that's the POS that I'm familiar with, email marketing has been the #1 way to track and get sales in the door. I can't say that it works well for sales. Like if I'm running a sale on something, that's just something where people come in and they see it, and it's more of like a quick thing. But it works well with sharing a story about something and getting in people's minds, sharing events and why we're doing things, big changes that are happening. But those emails are incredibly important. So and the cool thing about it is it can be scheduled out too. You don't have to sit down and like write and post right then. It's something where if you're the kind of person that's a planner, you can create, all right, here's my month worth of emails, or here's my week's worth of emails. Figure out like what kind of topics you want to hit on different days. Like I try to do a weekly one where we get our produce in and share with people what produce I'm excited about and where we're getting them. That's been a really challenging one for me, because it's a lot of words that you're like just copying and like putting in there. So the things that work best for me is stories that I'm telling, where I'm just literally sharing my heart on things. So email campaigns, if you're not doing email campaigns, your POS is probably collecting those email addresses already. And so you have access to those. The second one is text message marketing as well. That's a little bit more expensive, so you need to weigh the costs of that, but it does help drive sales as well. For a while, when we first started our breakfast tacos in the morning, we weren't selling all of them. And so I would send out a text message saying, hey, I've got $1 tacos. And literally I would have 20 people come through the door looking for those $1 tacos within 20 minutes. So people were seeing my text messages. I realized that I'm the only person that's a shop owner in Lockhart that actually utilizes text messages. And so I take advantage of that and send people, hey, here's the monthly events for things. And then people are looking to us to find out what's going on. So it keeps them engaged beyond just grocery. But again, we're here for connecting for community as well. So it's really important to diversify what you're showcasing and not just keep it kind of mundane grocery food centered, but you're telling stories, you're sharing your community events, you're sharing an interesting conversation that you had, but those types of things. Another thing with social media, it can get really burdensome to post on social media. So there was a podcast that I listened to recently that was talking about this, and how like most people, most businesses that are posting on social media are doing two things. They're showcasing their arrivals, new items that have arrived, and events, like in-person events. That's like the number two things. And I realized that's what I was doing for a long time, was just posting those two types of stories. She said in this podcast too, she used this, what's it called whenever it's like the words mean, like the letters mean something. Yes, she said share. So story, share a story that happened to you, a great conversation, why you started, story about an item, like in a real format, more important than images. Share your face on social media. People want to see, I can't tell you how annoying it is sometimes to like go through someone's feed and not know who the hell are the owners on this. That's a really something that people are looking to connect with the owners of these micro businesses like ours. So sharing a story, a human, take a photo with a face in it, either a customer's face, your face, a team member's face, but a photo with a face in it is going to get more hits than a photo of just an item. You can combine them so you have like 4 different images where you've got an initial image is like a photo with a face, and then you go down the line and you've got other images of your actual products. But sharing that human face is going to get you more view time. And then arrivals is down there as well. So live streaming arrivals, like when you get in a shipment from, say you got a shipment from Faire and you're unpacking things, say you got your meat and your rancher is right there. Just put it on a fucking live stream the interaction saying, I'm so excited because we got this meat, blah, 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 and just talk about it. And then you can post that as a video that will then garner more views. But Instagram is really pushing those lives first. Doesn't matter if it's a scheduled live, just pop on there. And it doesn't matter if somebody sees it or not. What they're going to see is later on when you share that down the road. And then relevant things, so seasonal, trending, holidays, pop culture stuff that connects to your favorite customer, like your persona customer who's like your person that's in there. And then events, in-person promotions or sales. Those are the like top 5 different things that you should be posting on your social media in like a rhythm. So it's not getting boring and mundane. And people are like, oh my God, they're posting about, in our scenario, soup club. Like, I feel like their entire social media is just soup club all the time. That's fine, but that's like, you know, this level. And so to take it up with more engagement and more visibility, you have to take it up this level. So those are my inputs with how I've worked. I have not done any hard campaigns of like postcards or advertising in our local newspaper. That works for some people. It just felt like a big, very expensive thing to do. And I wasn't sure how I would be able to track those. So I have not done any of that. That's my personal experience. I would love for someone to share things that are working for them with marketing.
Can I ask, Taylor, can I ask a quick question? Who are you, what's the platform are you using for text?
It's all through Square.
It's all through Square, got it.
Mm-hmm.
We've never done that. And I feel like it's a miss because like you said, it's a quick way to differentiate yourself if no one else is using it, right? I mean, I think that's one of those like, okay, I might get a little annoyed at the Kroger constant text message, but the local store, you know, maybe something different. The other thing is you mentioned that that your POS is collecting emails. Is that people subscribing, or is it like their card is already loaded up with their email and it's just kind of grabbing it?
Both.
Cool.
With the Square Up, I don't know what Clover's situation is, but so many small businesses use Square Up that when someone puts their card in, a lot of times it's not for every customer because there's different privacy settings and stuff, but someone puts their card in, signs up their email address to.
They've added it somewhere.
Then it's added. So they'll like, oh, I went to your coffee shop and now I'm getting emails from your grocery store. And I'm like, I hope that's okay. Feel free to unsubscribe. And they're like, no, I love them. I don't even live in town, but I love reading them. I hear that literally all the time.
Okay, that's helpful. That's really helpful. Okay,
anyone else have anything to add that's working for them marketing wise?
No. We don't market, so yeah, we just need to work on it.
We haven't done it either. We do. I have somebody, I'm not good at social media, and I have somebody do it for us. Like I take the pictures, but then we just kind of talk about it and she posts them for me. So she's been talking to me also about sending out email campaigns, which we also have not done, but it sounds like that would be something that we need to start doing immediately. It sounds like, do you have anyone subscribe? Do they click subscribe, or is it just Square grabbing the emails and then you can just,
Jennifer, go in and look at how many emails you already have collected.
Okay.
You may not have gone through that like section in Square before. I was shocked at how many we already had collected without even trying at all. So you already have them. Then you can change your POS. You can change so like the screen can say, subscribe to our email list. And then you can also send them a follow-up email. Would you like to be subscribed to our email address? You can put it on your receipt. I don't get a ton through websites, but you can put on your website. I find that like it's better to capture the people that are already in the store. It's easier to capture those than the people that have not gone to the store before.
Right.
And I do think that if they put in their email address like in a Square system previously, that it saves it. So like the biggest thing I think that we collect emails is like when they want a receipt emailed to them, then it automatically just saves it into like the Square system as a whole.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, you just have to pay for the marketing. There's like another monthly marketing thing you have to pay for, which it's totally worth it.
It's $30 a month for just the emails. The text messages are more expensive because I think it's new. So I have to be really careful about how many texts I send out. But the email campaigns, the insights that you get from that are just totally worth it. And we've seen like a drastic increase. So.
And you do, just to be clear, you use Square as the platform to send that email to, or are you using MailChimp?
No, I'm keeping it all in the same system. I'm able to track those metrics because of that. So I can see how many people have like opened the email, and then directly see what sales have been procured because of that. So like if someone opens my email and comes in within the next, like, I think their metric is like 72 hours or something, they're viewing that as because they saw my email, and then they're attributing those sales to the fact that I sent and they read the emails.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's
Taylor,
really a powerful tool.
You're really good at putting your face on there. I watch your videos because they're fun.
Not fun.
I mean, I know you, so it's kind of cool to like see, but like, yeah, I mean, I love the one, was it yesterday when you're like, this is my new friend, like, look, check this thing out. It's it. Like, yeah. And we all have people popping in and out of here, whether it's customers or farmers or, we just brought in some vegan kolaches. The first drop yesterday. Like that was a big miss, not having old Nick tell me about his new vegan kolaches. And so like, yeah, it's just so easy to do.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I'm a pro at it. It's I went to this conference for entrepreneurs, and that was one of the biggest things that I took away from it was I need to put my face out there more. This is such a small community and it's so obnoxious. But I'm trying to treat it as I talk to these people in person every single day. They're just online. Like I'm online, they're just online as well. So just talk to them like they're in person, share with them something that you're excited about. And I'm trying to do better about just like making it feel very authentic, but it's not fucking authentic. I'm getting in front of a screen, talking to my phone, and it's annoying, and I'm trying.
But it's not produced, right? I mean,
like I'm trying not to say,
just you talking.
Like,
it is. I mean, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. I mean, I think like it's one and done, right? I don't know. I'm just gonna do my thing here, talking to a camera instead of the customer. It comes across as authentic.
Yeah, it's working. And I keep asking my like core customers, like, if it's too much, like if you're tired of seeing my face, please let me know. Because this is kind of a new thing with me to stick my face out there. I did a lot during the pandemic because everyone needed that human connection during the pandemic. And then the last like 2 years, I really haven't done it very much. And I've just focused on product shots and like those types of things. But I just see we're not growing as fast because of that. And so I think that, the more loyal customers that we can have returning is really important for us to maintain, success. So. Okay, anything else? Do y'all have loyalty programs? Are y'all doing loyalty programs? That's another thing that Square offers, where they have like these loyalty points that you can set and do all this stuff. I don't love it. It's annoying to have to give discounts to people, like, because we have such small margins anyways. I try to make the loyalty program more centered around our coffee and smoothie program, which I have good margins on. So like if people spend, I don't know, like $100 and they get like enough to get $2 off their espresso drink, that sort of thing. My customers really always love the loyalty programs. They feel like they're getting a deal and everybody wants a deal. So it's good for customer rapport. Again, operating in a small town, not a lot of people are doing loyalty programs because it's really hard for a tiny shop to do any type of shop, whether it be retail or coffee shop or whatever. And I don't know if people understand that. So I would say look into it, but the email marketing is way more important and cheaper, honestly. But then once you start a loyalty program, you can't take it away because people will be pissed about it.
So I've got to bounce, but when we turned one on May 10th, we ran it was random, but that morning we sent kind of out a quick, email and a few other, on social, like 30% off at the store all day long. Like who knows? Like, thanks for being here. And we had, after the discount, we had our best day ever.
Okay, cool.
And before the discount, we blew it out of the water. And so we're like, that's interesting. We were a 6-day-a-week shop, and just the week prior we had opened on Mondays. And so we were like, what if we did, like, let's not make this thing insane, but we looked at we wanted to bring people in on Mondays. So we're like, let's run a special every Monday. And like, so as to not tie our hands, we said it's going to be summer only, and we'll see how it goes. And we're doing 25% off on fresh produce, grab and go items that are all pretty much expiring the next day. It's kind of how our rhythm goes. And then some local cold brew coffees that typically expire within the next couple of days. And so stuff we're going to move out anyway. We're going to throw on sale. We're going to put on Too Good to Go, which is another program you guys might want to look into. But yeah, so it's been great. It has driven traffic. The sale, we're paying a little bit for the sales and the discounts, but it's not terrible, right? Because the baskets get bigger. And so that's something. But it's a way to mitigate your exposure by just being, like we're going to do a loyalty program forever, or whatever the case may be, or like getting people used to sales. It's like, it's just one day and it's just on a few items, but that's going to drive the basket in other ways. At least that's what we found.
Kaz, Kaz, y'all do something similar with y'all's prepared foods, right?
Yes, we do. We offer a healthy hour to get them to move. I'm sorry, I had a customer, so I didn't hear fully the entire thing, but I think that's what you were asking. Is that
a healthy hour is a good idea.
How is that?
Yeah, we call it.
Guys,
You gotta go.
So it's really interesting. I think that it's all depend. I think if we knew about the text message marketing, it would do a whole lot better. When we moved healthy hour, when we opened our store on Saturdays, we moved the healthy hour from Friday to Saturday to move those prepared foods, and now it really doesn't do as well. And then it's, again, how do we because some weeks we don't have, it's not consistent, right? So some weeks we do really well at forecasting what prepared foods to make, and then come Friday, there really isn't much to offer, or Friday or Saturday, there isn't much to offer at a healthy hour, right? And other weeks we have an abundance. So it's like, I think perhaps the text messaging will help drive that. If we say, we have 4 packages of family style carnitas, come in and get them, it might move better than what we have seen. It's really just dependent on what's available. And I think more for us, is letting people know and then really having the right items that they're looking for at the right time.
I don't know if this would work for you, but this is what works best for me for prepared foods in dealing with quick approaching expiration dates. We put our prepared foods on, we have set expiration dates for each thing that we've just pulled out of our ass. I have, I taste things and make sure, but I haven't sent it to a lab or anything. I'm just like assuming that a hummus lasts for 7 days with that best by date, right? So on the date, 2 days before it goes out, we mark it down half off. We don't have any set day of this is our like half off day. We did that initially when we didn't have enough customers coming through the store to really sell to. But now customers know to look for, like, we have kind of a discounted row as it gets like later into the week that we're, constantly shifting and moving. But doing the markdowns of 50% off, if it's a higher priced item that has maybe like we have a lot of, but it has 3 days to it, I'll take $2 off and just write that on there and move it to the shelf that has like all like the discounted goods or get them before they're gone sign. But that works really well for us. With our breakfast tacos, and Sam, I don't know if you do this, but if our breakfast tacos, if we don't sell them put them out by 9 o'clock in the morning, if they're not sold by 1, then they all go to $1. At first I had to text people to let them know that we had a lot. Now people just know to come in after 1 o'clock and ask for tacos. And if we don't have tacos, then they just move on to the sandwiches, or they go get tacos at the local taqueria.
That's really fascinating. See, it's like for us, I think we do less on daily prepared foods, and we do better, a whole lot better on the family prepared meals. So people coming in and like looking for something to heat up for dinner. Mm-hmm. So that's really interesting. And then we've never done 50% off. We usually just do 20. And I wonder if we would move more and have less waste if we offered a higher discount. So that's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, it's annoying to have to do 50. Eventually you'll get your margins down to try, or your, what am I trying to say? Your what's the word? How many you're supposed to make? You know what I'm talking about.
Right. No, right? I know exactly what you're saying. It's all about forecasting.
Your pars down.
Yes,
you'll get your pars down
yes.
And expect all that. And you guys might look into doing, I don't know how niche your thing is, but you might look into doing like a meal subscription thing too. I know that when I talked with Stephanie, she said that was a huge part of their success, was having these subscription things where you can guarantee that you're going to make even just 5 people sign up for a family plan of meals provided. And then you guarantee those 5 sales for family meals. And then you make 10. And then you for sure are going to sell all 10 because then your pars are correct. And your loyal customers that are coming in know that they've already paid for it, that it's subscribed, they can pause. And Square Up also offers that subscription thing now. So you can do a subscription model through Square Up as well. I should be a spokesperson for Square. Do y'all want to continue talking about some things? We've lost some people. We could talk about more things, or we could call this a great meeting and then meet next month. If we did want to continue, I was going to talk about some direct buying versus large scale, and then talk about margins and just continue on. Where are you guys at?
I lost, so I'm down to stay on for as long as possible. Sounds like everyone's pretty busy.
I'm good today. If it's around you, I can.
Yeah, I'm
continue.
Or like I did it, but otherwise this has been such a wealth of knowledge. I've taken so many notes. So
I know,
thank you so much for organizing. Yeah, this is. I mean, what a wonderful idea. Anyway.
Cool. Well, my goal with this is to collect all of this, just chatting through things. My eventual goal is to put out a PDF on how to start a small grocery so that other people could learn what we've all had to do a bunch of trial and error to learn. Because I think when I was looking at trying to scale my business, everyone kept saying like, you need to open more brick and mortars. And I'm like, I don't have any capacity to open up brick and mortars. And I also don't want to take out a bunch more loan money to do that. But I would love to empower other people to open up their own brick and mortars and to do this, and maybe save them some headache along the way. And I'd also like to put all this will go on YouTube. And then I want to start collecting some interviews with y'all personally and other independent grocers personally, and develop a podcast. It's a very niche industry, you know, tiny groceries, but honestly, there's, you know, hundreds across the nation. And so I feel like there's a lot of interest, and I think what we're doing is really powerful, because, you know, you go into a supermarket and it's just obnoxious to me, honestly. It's exciting to see lots of different types of food, but it's not you know, human contact that I'm looking for. And I feel like that a lot of people can speak to that as well. So yeah, we'll just continue maybe next call, but maybe I'll leave like the next couple of things just really quick, the next, like, you know, 15 minutes or so, talk about, just to make sure that you guys are aware of, I know that a lot of you are using UNFI and some KEHE and some Faire. I also want to make sure that all of you know about buying direct from two of my best sellers, Simple Mills for the gluten-free crackers and gluten-free cookies and stuff. Those are the two, like the crackers sell like crazy. And then the cookies are a good seller too. I don't mess with their mixes. Nobody buys those. I don't know why, but they just don't. But direct from them is cheaper and they ship to you. So Jennifer, you can even get that where you're at. Sam, you can get that where you're at, but it's shipped FedEx or UPS, and it's free shipping. It normally takes about a week to 2 weeks as a turnaround. So you have to kind of prepare in advance, and you have to pay up front. So there's no like net 30 or anything like that. And then Siete, the brand of healthy chips, tortilla chips, and the wedding cookies and some of their canned things, their chips do great. So ordering direct from Siete is a much better way to work with them. Their reps are really helpful too. So working with their direct reps, once you're kind of in their system and are ordering from them, they see that, then the reps typically reach out, but they've been super supportive. They'll even give us some free fills from UNFI, and are really, really helpful. Have y'all all been approached by any reps that represent different natural food brands that give you free fills at all? Have y'all experienced that yet? Okay. No. So that's something I would love to connect y'all with, because there are some reps that work with like bigger brands or smaller brands too, but they don't work with UNFI or KEHE or Faire. They just work with the brand. And so they can set up a free fill or a discounted like 50% off fill to see how it will do, and just to give you free, you know, stuff to put on your shelves. I would say like being cautious with that is really good, because you don't want to get, I've made the mistake of getting way too much of stuff that just sits and it doesn't do well. So when we're buying, we always have to be extremely cautious with all the stuff that we bring in, because it's food and it has an expiration date, and some people don't want the mulling spice that I bought 3 cases of for they just didn't dig it. So and then working with Faire, Jennifer, are you working with Faire?
Yes, we work with, we do a lot. In fact, I was getting Siete from Faire, but I'm glad to know that they do direct. Yeah, because Faire, we've become dependent on Faire. It feels like because of the availability, like we can't find that anywhere else. We work with a lot national distributors at the bakery a lot, and they won't even put stuff on the truck for us because we're so far out and nobody else wants it but one business. So it's like, we've become pretty dependent on Faire, but the prices just keep getting worse as far as shipping.
Yeah, I was so stoked about Faire when it first came out, and I built a lot of inventory around them for retail and for kitchen goods and a bunch of different stuff. But they've messed up, because all the shipping is insane now, and you can't make a good margin on anything from Faire now, unless it's part of the Faire Insider and you're getting free shipping, which is now few and far between. So I feel like they had lofty goals and have just suffered, and I have not found a good substitute for that. The shipping charges are just way too high. For example, like we were getting Good Crisp, and I saw that I could get Good Crisp from Faire rather than UNFI at a cheaper rate, but then the shipping ended up being way more. And I actually talked to a rep, and Good Crisp is working on getting direct shipping. So I'll keep you updated if he gets back in touch with me. But that's a top seller for us too. But I just keep on going direct as much as I can. And oftentimes that's the better deal. But not everyone offers direct. And so I think like this is one of the reasons why I'd like to have a collective of independent grocery, you know, people in Texas at least, is to have these like, yo, like we love your stuff. We would love to carry it, but UNFI sells it for what it could buy it for at Whole Foods, you know, like where's the fairness in that? So just giving us more power and buying power would be great.
But what does that look like, Taylor? Are we going to have like a warehouse where and then somebody that distributes it to our different businesses?
I'm not opposed to it. Honestly, Stephanie with Farmhouse Delivery has offered something like that. She just doesn't have the capability to get it to us she's got the buying power. She's got the warehouse space. She gets the produce deals from California. So she's open to it. Maybe if we like put together like our own delivery routes or something. What was that? Oh, I thought
it wasn't me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out to see what could potentially grow in. I don't think it's anytime soon that something like that could happen. But, you know, I looked into this, what's it called? It's called Infra. Have y'all heard of that?
No.
Infra is, it is let me look it up. It is a grocery store collective. Oh my God. Infra. Independent Natural Food Retailers Association. So this is, I'll just share this in the thing. It's something that I've looked into becoming a part of, but it's expensive and it's a bitch to join. Oh man. Did I go wobbly?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Oh, hang on. I just shared it in the chat. Naturalfoodretailers.com. It's really for like Fresh Plus in Austin is a part of this. Wheatsville is a part of this. It gives buying power through contracts. Like you're not buying directly from Infra, you're a part of their retailers association. But it's like, it takes a long time to become a part of it, like over a year to become like a member of it. And then it's like $1,300 a year, which is just a lot just to like, and they give you like signage, like you can tell once you know like what their signage looks like, you can tell when you walk into an Infra partner retailer based on the types of signage that they have. So they provide you with a lot, but it's more for like larger, like 10,000 square feet or more shops. I don't know a lot of shops that I've seen that are a part of it that are our size, so less than 2,000 square feet. So I feel like there's like a market gap there where it's like there are more independent tiny grocers starting up, and how do we figure out how to do this in a sustainable way where we can get, I feel like it's important for us to get the same kind of price deals that Whole Foods, we're not selling in volume, but what we're doing is creating like loyalty brand representing, you know, like the brands that we carry, we 100% stand behind, and we're taking time with the customers that Whole Foods is not taking time with. So I don't know. It's just something that like I would love to see, but it's a dream as of now, but who knows what could happen if we all work together on something. I've got a few more minutes. So I was curious, like we talked to several people have mentioned margins. What kind of margins are y'all, Maddie, I've talked with you about this before, but what kind of, and Sam, I talked with you about it too, but Kaz and Jennifer, what kind of margins are y'all trying to work with for your different categories?
Well, we're kind of all over the place. I'm not good at tracking it. We just kind of, I just sort of set what I think that people will pay, you know, so especially in the wine department, you know, I have a good wine rep that comes out of Tyler, and she kind of says, here, you can sell it, you know, this is a bottle, you know, so I kind of tend to make a little, you know, set the margins a little higher for the wine so that I can make the farmers, like they can have more. well, with our farmers, I do consignment. I don't know how y'all are doing that too, but like, I don't buy their product outright. I just, this was something that I just, so that we could start with low overhead. I was like, you bring it in and then we'll, it's consignment. So I run everybody has a category on Square, every farmer. And then I run a report every month and just take 15% off as my fee. And then I write them checks basically. And that works for a lot of the older guys. They're like, that's great. But so the margin there is not very, that's 15%, and I'm doing a kind of a lot of work, but at the same time, I take more, I just sort of mark the wine up more to kind of carry it over. I don't think that's a very, it's a sort of haphazard system, but, I'm not sure what anybody else is. And like with Faire, I feel duped a little bit because I feel like I was getting much better shipping. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, why is this so expensive? So I was like losing money on several products, so the margin was terrible at that, with some of those because they're shipping, I hadn't noticed. And then I was losing tons of money on the shipping basically. So now I got to refigure all the prices basically.
Same.
Just to comment on Faire, Chelsea isn't on, so I can't speak to this exactly because she does handle the ordering for them.
Mm-hmm.
But we were ordering sparkling botanicals and and fond and some other things from them. And the sparkling botanicals in particular came to us with a huge shipping fee when we hadn't been paying shipping, or it was a nominal shipping fee before. So it's kind of the same thing. We got an order. We were like, oh my goodness, now we have to really raise the price in order to cover the cost. And subsequently, Chelsea paid for some type of monthly membership with them. And that monthly membership now gets us a reduced shipping rate. So we can continue to carry that product, for example. And we've paid now this like monthly membership fee. But again, I can't speak to that. So I could ask her to send an email.
Yeah, that's
about
called
it.
you're a Faire Insider is what it's called. It's $15 a month, and that works with a lot of brands where if they're a Faire Insider brand, then they have a shipping arrangement with Faire. I'm wondering if they have it like in a warehouse where it's actually shipped out by Faire. I'm not sure how it works. And so are you ordering Rishi Sparkling Botanicals? Is that the brand that you're ordering?
Yes, and it's pretty popular.
Yeah, no, ours, we sell those. They do really good. I was getting them through Faire. There's a company that's in your area, should come to you. I doubt with you, Jennifer, but Maddie will go to you, called Waterfall Gourmet Beverages. I'll type it here. They deliver those. It's a coffee shop company basically that delivers like paper cups, napkins, paper towels, just things you need for a coffee shop, and a lot of that is beverages and some dairy-free milks as well. Their pricing on everything is not across the board better, but specifically for Rishi it is the best. And they also have I got you from UNFI, but yeah, the Rishi botanicals, you might look into that for them. They also have Main Root soda from that particular vendor as well. But yeah, the Faire Insider thing works with a lot of stuff, but it's still sometimes more expensive on Faire because it's kind of like calculated in that whole thing sometimes. I can speak to our margins. I've talked to Maddie about this quite a bit, and I've talked with Sam about this a little bit. Jennifer, when you're doing natural wines and you're the only one in your area doing natural wines, you can definitely do a higher margin than you would feel comfortable with, and even higher than your rep would say. I do a 1 point margin. I do a 1.7. So I take like my wholesale price and multiply it by 1.7 to get my margin there. For beer, that does not work. For beer, I have found that it has to be cheap. So I only add about $2 to $2.50 on top of the wholesale cost. So that's annoying. I don't like selling beer because of that. So I really try to focus on the wine. Retail beverages, our top categories are prepared foods and retail beverages. So many stupid retail beverages that are so expensive. But I do almost a 100% markup on it. So I'll take that retail cost and almost double it. Sometimes a little bit more. Our top seller is Cocoa Joy, randomly. It's the best coconut water. I get it from Austin Provisions, who's a Boar's Head company. I'm sure there's other places to get it, but that is consistently our best top seller, which is ridiculous. Olipop also, I just got a direct buying account with Olipop, and I think it's going to be cheaper, but I'm still out. I don't know for sure, but currently UNFI still has the cheapest for Olipop, but I saw a lot of Olipops as well.
I was about to ask you if you've been getting from UNFI.
Could you mention?
What was
Sorry, I
that?
didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say it broke up for a minute, so I thought that you were done. I just wondered, what was the one you mentioned before Olipop? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, Olipop, I'm still getting from UNFI, but I just set up an account. They do have a direct buy program. When I initially went over their website with the direct buy, it was like $29 a case, which is insane. It's $21 a case from UNFI, but then the rep wrote me back and said that that's maybe I'm not logged into the right thing because it should only be $20 a case, which would be great.
No, I was mentioning the thing before Olipop, the brand before. I didn't hear that one.
Cocoa Joy.
Oh, Cocoa Joy. I haven't heard of that. Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it either. And it's, we get it through our Boar's Head company, which is like our deli meats and salamis and stuff. Yeah, I don't know where you'd get it in y'all's markets. Maddie, you could definitely get it. But yeah, but Cocoa Joy is our best seller. I don't know what it is about that coconut water, but it's literally the best. But capitalizing on retail beverages and keeping those margins really high. I mean, I'm charging $4 for an Olipop, which feels insane to me, but people are buying it and I have a good margin on it and I'm selling a lot of it. So I kind of have to keep doing that. I'm the only place to get it in Lockhart. So it's like, if they want it, they will pay for it sometimes. So.
That's crazy. I think ours is just under $3 or right at $3 and people buy it like crazy. So we'll probably
what's Taylor's at?
$4.
Mine's at 4 too.
Yeah. Well, we're up in that price. Noted.
Yeah. And only one person has ever given me shit about that. And I was like, you know what? It's expensive to get in here. I have to sell it for this price. This is what I know Tiny Grocer on South Congress in Austin. I know that they're selling it for $4 as well. So it's not unheard of.
Gotcha.
I have had someone ask me about it, that because Kroger started carrying it here, and it's of course much cheaper. But I find that it's kind of a good, it's a good talking point because they're like, "Why is it so much more expensive here?" I'm like, "Well, I cannot buy it for what Kroger is selling it for to you." So it's just if you want the convenience of it being here while you're in here, it's just going to cost more, or you can wait and get it at Kroger.
Yeah.
So
exactly. I mean, we buy it at almost $2 a can. So
yeah.
Great American AP. There's a great book that I read whenever I was like trying to do research and learn more about the grocery industry in America in particular. It's called The Great American AP. It is a history of how the supermarket came to be in America. It is fascinating, the damage that supermarkets have done to local business owners, local ranchers, local farmers, and it's still happening. A lot of the practices that they started back in like the 50s and 60s are still happening, where big supermarkets will sell things at a loss just so they can get people in the store, which puts the farmers at a disadvantage and the makers at a disadvantage, because then they have to sell it, for just keep on going down. And it's not good. It's not wholesome practices. And that's one of the things that I try to convey to my customers when I am educating them on why our prices are so expensive. My husband hates how expensive all of our prices are. I hate how expensive everything is, but we also are in a crazy time in America where the dollar is just not worth anything and it's hard getting things. And, the inflation just keeps going up and it's so obnoxious. So, it's just, if people want to be a part of what we're doing, then they will support where they can. And thankfully there are enough people in general that are still have, the pocketbooks, and they value that connection with their food, that they are willing to make those sacrifices so that they can do that. Let me see. Finding employees. This is something that someone had brought up, and maybe we'll let this be the last topic that we talk about. We have had great success with getting employees, but it's a retail business. And so retail stuff in general, you're always going to have turnover, which is obnoxious. So spending less time training people is really helpful. Recently with my new hires, I have started asking them to take a grit test. And you should take this too, because I read a book called Grit, and I highly recommend reading this book. It's about Angela Duckworth. I'll send you a link to it in the notes really quick. And this test, she said in this book that she started sending, that she has taken this grit test to many campuses and many like big corporations, where they give out this grit scale, and people that rate high on the grit scale are more likely to stick with something and continue on and be longer lasting employees. It's kind of annoying giving this test to people, but honestly, like, it's so expensive to train and hire and do all this stuff. Like, it's a lot. So getting quality employees that last for longer is super, super important. I am not an expert at hiring. When I'm hiring, I'm looking for people that are energetic, that will look you in the eye, that are quick moving, that are able to keep up with the work pace, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on at a grocery store, even of our size, and are passionate about food. So that's like core. I have found in general, college students are great because of their flexibility with a lot of online classes. And so we do hire a lot of college students. I will never mess with teenagers again until I really have a program that can handle them, because they do not understand, and I cannot get them to show up when they need to show up. So it's a waste of my time, honestly. We're passionate about teenagers and would love to see them fit in, but it's not something that we just don't have the money to support them. But I also believe in paying fair wages. Me and Maddie have talked about this. And so we start, and I've tried to pay less, but it just doesn't work. We start at $15 an hour, with the understanding that unless you're becoming a manager, you're not going to be getting a raise. It is what it is. And I can guarantee, hopefully, that I'm going to keep my, employees for at least a year, which is honestly, in a small retail environment, is as good as I can hope for. I feel like in my experience, there's been some that have been others, but unless there's like a movement up, like, why would you stay at a $15 job for longer than a year or two?
Yeah.
So like, while you're completing college is like ideal. So $15 an hour is where we start. And then we also allow tips. I know that's a controversial subject around America, where everyone's like, why am I tipping for an oil change? And why am I tipping, this robot that took my order and stuff? I don't ask for tips for people, but people have asked to tip us, tip my employees. I think the people that get it, that understand how challenging it is to run a micro business of our scale, understand that we don't offer benefits. Like, I have a discount in the store. I give them free swag and free food when I can. But their benefit is that they're working for a mom and pop shop, and they're a part of this like tiny revolution. And that is a lot for some people, So the tips in our scenario for the Lockhart store in particular add about $4 to $5 an hour onto their paychecks. And I pay those out right now in cash. This is not tax advice. But that's what we do. So it's like, they're making good money.
And that's on top of their base rate of 15, the tips?
Yes. Yes. And I just tip share that across the board. I don't take any tips. So it all goes to them. And so it's based on how many hours they've worked. And so if you worked 20 hours, like, I take that total number of tips that was collected both in cash and on the POS. and I divide that into how many hours have been worked, which gives me my X hours, per employee. And then if you work 16 hours, you get however many tips worth that across the board, even for my managers. So everyone gets tipped out based on how many hours they've worked. And in cash too. So it's not.
So your managers aren't on salary too?
They're not. I can't afford salary. I can barely make payroll as it is.
Right. For that. Do y'all have this where like the automatic tip out, like the option on Square, the app?
No, because I have to schedule myself into the thing. And so it's on there, but I tell them to disregard that and I have to go back and do it manually. I wish I could figure out a better way, but because I schedule myself, it wants to also tip me out, even when I try to not clock in. So I don't know how to make that work, but it just makes logical sense for me to put myself on the schedule when I need to work. So that has not worked out for me yet.
I've heard that.
What else? But yeah, finding employees is a bitch for sure. I try not to advertise whenever I'm hiring employees on social media because then you just get a deluge of people. I find that putting signs out in the store telling your current employees that you are hiring is better because it's like people that are already attracted to what you're doing. You want people that have passion and aren't just looking for a job. So that's my 2 cents with hiring. Anyone else want to add anything?
I mean, yeah, I would completely agree. We've had like friends of friends, people who know about our store. And then as far as posting anything to the internet, I don't go beyond Instagram because having posted ads to Facebook, just random job ads, and to, gosh, what are the other programs? I forget, but it's been a nightmare. You're just like, it creates so much work. You're seeing through all these different people. I think it really helps to have somebody who knows about the store and like to hire internally, so to speak.
Yes, hiring internally is where we've always succeeded. Those people tend to last longer. They have a strong work ethic coming in. Do any of y'all have like an application that people fill out, or do you just ask people to put together resumes?
Just resumes.
Yeah, for your resume.
Yeah, that's what I've done too. I've wondered if I should invest in like putting together a Google Drive that I can just refer people to, but honestly, like, we have a total of, I think, 20 employees all day between both shops. And so, if I lose someone every 3 months, like then I'm replacing it. It's just like, it feels like a lot of work just to, be learning about people word of mouth anyways. So it's like, I have not invested in doing that.
We used to at the bakery, and I don't remember, it just kind of went by the wayside. It seemed to be more trouble than it was worth, really, because yeah, it comes down to who they, that we know of them through other employees and that kind of thing, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Before we jump off, is there anything else that we could cover for this first meeting that you're just dying to ask or anything like that?
To share, after you go first.
Oh, I was wondering if anyone had tried delivery of groceries.
Beth from Tiny Grocer has. I mean, she's got this whole program going and she has a delivery vehicle. I know it was a long time coming for her, so she might be a resource for you.
Okay.
I tried reaching out to her. Do you have good contact with her? I'd love her insights, even if she was like a guest panelist or something. She's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, did you reach out to her and she didn't get back to you?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to her. I mean, I think that she would get on here and she would have a lot to say.
Awesome.
We could learn a lot from her because I know she has 25 plus experience in Whole Foods. So even if she was like a guest panelist, that would be so resourceful for us.
Yeah, I bet we could get her on the call next month.
Okay, cool.
And my comment was just regarding employee staff communication. So we have tons of Google Sheets, we have tons of Google Docs. There's still some text messaging going on. I really want to minimize that. I think it's somewhat invasive and it's not always effective because it's a one-on-one communication, and sometimes we would like to include the entire team on a conversation even if they weren't working in that moment. And so me and Sam talked about this for a really long time the other day. He uses an application called Discord, which is originally a gaming application, and it has all these different channels at which we could communicate. And it was really, really eye-opening. You know, there's one that's accountability, there's one that's loss. So anytime something's moldy and we're throwing it out, going to take a photo of it and put it in there. So we're all aware of what's being thrown away. And nothing's just getting kind of brushed under the rug. Because, you know, the more data we have, the better. There is so many different categories. Like if somebody forgets to clock in correctly, they can put it in one of the channels, which is huge for me because I just have people send that information when I'm running payroll.
Do you not
like
use
for instance,
Square Up
say
to
what?
clock in and stuff?
Say that again?
You not use Square Up to do clock in?
I do use Square for clocking in currently. I still have my staff screenshot their timekeeping for accountability purposes. I'm about to move, like at my other location, which is not a grocery store, I'm about to start using Toast, which I've been wanting to let you guys know. Toast is going to launch a retail platform, which I am interested in looking into. I really like Toast versus Square. And yeah, I'm going to be using Sling for scheduling. Right now I'm scheduling through Square.
I love that Square, like I have my employees clock in and clock out through Square, and they have the Square Teams app where they can request off, they can change their time if they forgot to clock out, they can switch shifts with one another, and they can do a bunch of different things. So that's like helped streamline all of that for us. But I also will say, as far as like communication with staff, Austin, this has not worked well for me, but for Austin at the coffee shop, they use WhatsApp, which is the same type of thing, it sounds like, as Discord, where you just have different like categories and group chats going on. When Sam showed me Discord, it looked very nerdy and I could not connect to it all, but WhatsApp is very much user friendly for millennials, I feel like, that are not you know, engineers. So I like the idea of WhatsApp. I feel like my team is all very not friendly with technology. I don't know why. I think it's just part of like, you know, the grocery type people are kind of crunchy granola and I love them. So what works for us is keeping notebook logs. I have my back of house team keep a production log of everything that they do on the notebook. Then I have my front of house team keep a log of everything that they've done and any concerns or things that happened during their shift. That way the person who comes on next, because it's like people working their shifts solo. And so it allows for everyone to communicate with one another in a non-invasive way, because I very much try to respect people's work-life boundaries. I'm not looking to text somebody when they're not off work, if I can help it. So, but the notebook thing, it's so, you know, old school, but I have an old school team, so it seems to work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we can also, there's like in applications like Hot Schedules, there's sections for shift notes. I was using Google Sheets for shift notes for a little while, but I just want something that people are going to interact with more frequently and that we stay consistent with.
Yeah, that's why we've switched to just the notebooks, is because I couldn't get anybody to even open the WhatsApp. And I didn't want to have text message trains. It's hard getting people to even read the emails that we send out. So the notebook seems to work because then they're there on shift. I would love to try to do a digital format. Maybe I'll try, you know, working with our iPad that we already have and see if I can get people to type their notes on that. But I don't know. You just kind of have to go with what your team works best with, right? And then slowly start growing them into something different. But the notebook seems to be the most efficient for us.
Yeah, us too.
Okay, well, I think that is a great first call. Y'all be thinking about what topics you'd like to bring to the table or things that you want to talk about next time. I'll also start.
I hope you got a lot out of this conversation. There's a lot of notes that we're taking, and I'm so excited for what we just delved into and the ideas that we have streaming to deal with more things in the future. After this conversation, there's a lot of talk already about different guest panelists that we can have bring to the conversation. We'll be working on adding different people in the industry with maybe more knowledge or know-how or years of experience that they can bring to the table in hopes that we can all learn how to be successful in this world of indie grocery.